The hunted meta is almost here. Let's get started. Tier list time. We're talking the top heroes of the upcoming meta. This is A tier and S tier. I figured why not abbreviate it? Let's talk about the heroes that I think are really going to cut through it. And as with every tier list that happens before a set releases, these heroes will be placed perfectly with absolutely no mistakes whatsoever in the perfect order. So, starting with number 10, a hero that I definitely have my eye on and think is going to be doing some numbers, or at least a little bit better than everyone would think and I would expect to be at top tables, is, well, none other than Prism Awakener of Soul. Here's the thing. There's going to be a lot of heroes that are going wide, there's going to be a lot of heroes that are not looking to block, and there's going to be a lot of heroes that aren't really running poppers. Who benefits from that the most? It's not Enigma. No, it's Prism Awakener of Soul, a hero that just puts out better numbers than just about any other deck out there if they aren't stopped, if they're not answered immediately. I expect Prism Awakener of Soul to be one of those heroes that really sits and kind of like pops out of nowhere at those top tables. People are going to show up with Prism, not going to be super hugely represented, but it's immediately going to punch people in the face and move very quickly towards the top tables. So if we're building a tier list, I am putting Prism Awakener of Soul solidly in the A tier. Now, continuing on, we're going to bounce back over here. I'm going to put our first of the hunted heroes up there. I believe in Fang, okay? Not just Joe Hendry. I also believe in Fang. I think Fang has what it takes to be a pretty solid warrior hero. I would argue perhaps the best warrior of the bunch. The cool thing about Fang is that he's Kasai, but probably slightly better. Kasai can have some really incredible value turns off of the back of popping a gold and not paying for her swords. Fang does that just by creating 3 fealties. He doesn't have to work to build up these gold and then destroy them. He just has to create 3 fealties and then sit on them. Now, of course, his downfall is once he blocks and doesn't play a Draconic card, he loses those and he has to build them back up. But that's not a very big downfall, and he gets to play a ton of attack reactions. So at the very least, once you get the ball rolling, most of your turn and most of your cards in hand are dedicated to just throwing more attack reactions and putting like 12 damage on the board each turn. Value is there, aggression is there, and I think that he, along with other heroes, are going to be pretty solid in the suite of aggro heroes. So again, I'm putting him in the A tier, and I think I'm just going to drop him right there. Okay. Time to mix it up a little bit. We could talk about a bunch of other heroes here, but I want to throw a hero that I think people aren't going to be expecting, and that's Dashio. I think Dashio still has some legs in the format. I do think she has the ability to push damage and kind of do crazy things with boom grenades. She is sitting a little bit further back in my mind than she was prior, and she did, of course, fall off post-Worlds and really kind of has played a little bit more of a backwards role compared to these post-Rosetta rune blades that have been doing quite well. But I still believe that she has what it takes to push damage across the board. Yes, new boots are scary and they can do lots of things, but honestly, I think she still just goes pretty fast, and I would put her above both of these heroes, probably somewhere around there. Now, who do we talk about next? I'm going to throw up one of those rune blades that got a nice little buff, and that's Aurora Shooting Star. I think Aurora is one of the best decks in the format, continues to be perhaps the best aggro deck in the format, like pure aggro deck, simply because she's consistent. Consistency is one thing. I will argue that perhaps there's one better aggressive hero than her as far as just explosive potential is concerned. But if we're looking at just a pure aggression that can just put out the same numbers every single turn and have a very big pop-off turn alongside of that, I think she is perhaps the best at it. Perhaps. It's tough for me. I'm going to go ahead and say that she's perhaps the best at it. And I am not going to put her in S tier. I'm putting her at the very tippy top of A tier. Now, who is going to join her in the A tier as well? I'm going to throw a hero you're not expecting. I think Enigma actually takes a good step back. I think the continuation and the continued inclusion of more aggressive heroes, particularly another ninja in Syndra that can go incredibly wide, and Fang, who can attack react in very consistent and perhaps even like more awkward to deal with numbers, I think she has a little bit more troubles. I think this defensive sort of plan with, count your blessings doesn't have as much space with even more aggressive heroes in the format. And I think the deck has to pivot to what a couple of people are already playing in more of a, I have big attacks and I can play this back and forth mid-range style where sometimes I'm defending, sometimes I'm attacking, I'm looking for the highest value. That's where she has to find her way. So if I'm putting her on this tier list, I'm actually probably threading the line between these two heroes. I don't think she immediately goes to the way top. I actually think I would rather play another hero like Aurora than I would Enigma, which is kind of a crazy thing to say because Enigma just won the World Championship. But I will tell you one of several heroes I think that are at the top of the list, and that is this hero right here. New Alluring Desire is even better post Mist Veil, of course, when she released, and now post this set when it releases like in a week and a half, I guess. So we still have some time before the set releases, but oh my god, they just keep printing insane assassin cards. And they don't stop printing insane assassin cards. Like, this is just what they do. They're continually printing these types of cards that are just pushing assassin. And the crazy part is the other assassins probably need those cards to do very well. New is just going to absolutely feast with some of these cards. And honestly, it's going to be an embarrassment of riches. You're going to be kind of forced to pick and choose how you actually build a deck. And that's kind of a cool thing. But nevertheless, it's going to make her one of the best, if not the best decks in the format because she is just so juiced after this set. It's crazy. It really, really is. I don't know if she's the best hero in the format. That perhaps is reserved for another hero, but we will talk about it as we go. Here's another hero that got juiced from this format, from this new set. Ira, Scarlet Revenger, a hero that was already getting massive value off of the back of just very efficient effect usage of her effect, of course, and also just good deck building with good cards. And she was built in like 3 different ways. I don't know if y'all saw that, but like the most recent Ira decks that have been coming out have been finding success in like 3 different builds. It's kind of bonkers and I kind of love it. And I think she's going to be even better with some of the cards included in this set. Daggers are good, especially now with some of the dagger synergy cards that she's getting access to. And I think she plays well into both of the top 2 heroes. We'll say both of them because she has enough insulation from disruption and she could put numbers down on the board that she might have just positive matchups into both heroes. We'll see. I'm very curious to see overall her matchup spread into New and the other hero I'm thinking is perhaps the best deck in the format. But regardless, I think she deserves to sit towards the top. And I will say probably somewhere, you know what, I'm gonna put her right here because I can't justify it. I can't do it. I'm gonna put her there. And it's the 100% right choice. I will say, I think there is one other hero that perhaps has the explosive potential to sit atop the A tier in front of her. So let's talk about that hero right now because I think that it is Viserai Runeblood. I think Viserai continues to just be the explosive hero that he is and that he has been for a while. But the crazy part is that not only is he like popping off thanks to the explosive nature of some of the Rosetta cards, but he has disruption now as well. And he can be played via the same list in a switchboard style that has game into fatigue matchups, which means that he has the capacity to answer a lot of different metas. That being said, I don't know if he's the best hero in the format, but I do feel confident in saying he deserves to be part of the A tier. And I'm just going to, for explosive potential purposes, I'm putting him here. I think he deserves a spot right up here. You could honestly argue these 2 heroes are side by side. One of them's more explosive, one of them is more consistent, but I'll leave it here because it feels fun. Again, if I'm wrong about any of this, leave a comment down below. I will dispute you because everybody knows tier 0, like day 0 tier lists that come out before sets release are always correct and never incorrect. Write that down. Everyone know, everyone remember. That's how it works. Okay, final 2 heroes we're going to talk about, and the first one is Syndra. I like Syndra a lot. I've really enjoyed playing her. In fact, I've really enjoyed playing both of the Draconic heroes thus far, testing them out, trying to build decks for them. I think Draconic talent is clearly my favorite talent. It is so much fun to play an aggressive hero that just says, hey, I'm about being aggressive. I think she does suffer in some way, shape, or form from disruption. She requires you to build disruption into her deck so that she can really shine. She needs to be built in a specific way, but I think she has the capacity to really push a lot of damage consistently on turn-by-turn basis and have a couple of explosive turns. Perhaps not to the level of an Aurora Shooting Star, certainly not to the level of a Viserai Runeblood, but she has some serious game to her. Where she falls on the tier list is an interesting one. I personally feel like she's actually sitting somewhere right here. I think she's somewhere in this ballpark. I'm not sure I'm buying the hype of the Poisoned Blade kind of combo thing. I have tested a little bit of that. I had Blue Poisoned Blade in my list when they first spoiled it. I was like, that's pretty interesting. I'm going to throw her right here because I do believe deeply. I believe heavily that she could be there, but I don't think she's the best hero. In fact, I don't even think she's the best ninja, because I think the best ninja and the best hero in the format is Zen. I am a firm believer and have been a firm believer in Zen, Tamer of Purpose, post banning of all of his cards. I have continually been a big believer that he is, if not the best hero in the format. One of the best heroes in the format. It's one or the other. And right now, I'm gonna stake my claim. I'm gonna say he has all the answers. He can play explosively. He can play in a more measured, efficient style. He can play against heroes that want to try and OTK him or try to have these big pop-off turns. He has tools to insulate himself from those big damage turns in the form of Zen State tokens, especially right now where all of those heroes are either throwing Rune Chants or one source of one ping of Arcane or daggers or anything of the sort. Zen has the answers and can be built in a way that still allows him to just rise to the occasion. It's kind of absurd how Zen has been touched on multiple occasions, and yet he's still there. He's still, in my opinion, the number one. So of course, he does indeed deserve the number one slot. But am I getting something wrong? Does another hero deserve to be at the S tier? Should it be a triangle of S tier decks? And who should be atop the meta? Did I forget a hero? Is there a hero down here that's way off the screen that should be on the board in the A or S tier? And should I fill this out with B, C, and D tiers? Do you care? Do you want to know how I feel about the rest of the meta? Of course, leave a comment down below. If you want to support the channel, you can always like and subscribe. And if you want to be a true supporter of the channel, head over to Metafy, support me on Metafy. I, of course, will be releasing deck techs, and hopefully I would really like to release deck techs alongside of some great players as well. I think it would be really cool to host live Q&As with great players that you know and love on specific heroes, talking about the new heroes. If that's something that you're interested in, let me know, and I will see if I can arrange that. As always, everybody, thanks for watching.